you ever felt a chill run down your spine when you're all alone in a room? It's a sensation that can turn even the bravest of souls into jittery wrecks. This powerful emotion we know as fear has a way of playing tricks on our minds, making the ordinary appear ominous and the mundane malevolent. Picture this: a hauntingly dark, cold night. The moon is shrouded in clouds, and the wind howls like a forlorn spirit. In the heart of this chilling void stands a house, an old forgotten dwelling, its silhouette a grim specter against the night sky. It's been standing alone for decades, its windows like vacant eyes, peering into the darkness. This house, my friends, is not just an ordinary house. It is a monument of many untold stories, stories that would make your blood run cold. Tonight we unravel a tale from this very house that stands as a testament to true horror. What if shadows in your house started whispering your name? A thought to send shivers down the spine of even the bravest amongst us. Now imagine a place where such eerie occurrences are far from uncommon. A place where the line between the physical world and the spectral one seems to blur and distort. Welcome to what the locals ominously call the House of Shadows. This house, nestled away in the heart of a forgotten town, carries a history as dark as the shadows that haunt it. It's a history of strange occurrences, of inexplicable happenings, and most chillingly, of mysterious disappearances. Over the years, countless people have reportedly vanished without a trace, their last known location being this very house. The locals whisper of a curse, a spectral force that resides within the house, forever hungry for more souls to claim. And then, there are the shadows. The house, regardless of the time of day, seems to be perpetually shrouded in darkness. But it's no ordinary darkness. The shadows here move, they twist and turn, they slither along the walls and creep across the floor, and sometimes they even whisper. A soft, barely audible murmur carrying your name on its ghostly breath. It's enough to make the blood in your veins run cold. Despite the countless warnings, the tales of horror, and the spine-chilling atmosphere, there are still those who dare to venture into the house. Driven by either foolhardy courage or a morbid curiosity, these brave souls risk everything to uncover the truth behind the House of Shadows. To them, the whispers are not a warning, but an invitation. An invitation to delve deeper into the darkness, to confront the spectral forces, and to uncover the secrets that the house so jealously guards. But for one brave soul, this House of Shadows was about to become a chilling reality. Have you ever been someplace where you were not just unwanted, but feared? A chilling thought, isn't it? Our tale now brings us to the heart of the story, where we meet our protagonist, an intrepid explorer with an insatiable curiosity. He had heard of the house, the whispers of its haunted past, and the tales of darkness that cloaked its history. But he was not to be swayed by mere whispers. He decided to spend a night in the house. As he stepped over the threshold, the air around him seemed to change. The old wooden floors groaned under his weight, as if protesting the intrusion. The house was silent, save for the distant hooting of an owl and the rustling of unseen creatures in the walls. Yet there was a strange rhythm to the silence, a pulse that was almost alive. The house was old, and it showed. The wallpaper, once vibrant, was now faded and peeling. The air was heavy with the scent of decay and dust. But beneath it all, there was something else. A cold, metallic tang that seemed to seep from the very pores of the house. It was as if the house itself was alive, breathing, watching. As our explorer settled in, he noticed the temperature begin to fluctuate. One moment, the air was biting cold. The next, it was stiflingly hot. He could feel a cold draft, a spectral chill that seemed to pass right through him. It was a feeling he couldn't shake off, a feeling of being watched, of being feared. The house creaked and moaned as the hours passed. The silence was filled with distant whispers, the soft rustling of invisible entities. The air was thick with tension, with anticipation. And then, as the old grandfather clock in the hallway struck midnight, our brave explorer realized something. This was not just a house, it was a living, breathing entity. It was a place where he was not just unwanted, but feared. As the clock struck midnight, our brave explorer realized this was not just a house, but a living, breathing entity. What happens when the night decides to fight back? Imagine the darkness itself, like a living entity, growing bolder with each passing moment. Our explorer, once a confident intruder, now finds himself the prey. The house, once silent and still, comes alive with a symphony of terrors. Whispers, once faint and indistinguishable, now echo through the corridors, growing louder and more insistent. The words are unintelligible, a language of dread that needs no translation. The whispers seem to come from everywhere yet nowhere, an auditory illusion that plays tricks on the mind, making our explorer second-guess his own sanity. And then, the shadows begin to move. They twist and contort, taking shapes that defy the laws of light and space. Shadows that seem to reach out, stretch, and expand, creating grotesque silhouettes against the moonlit walls. Our explorer feels watched, hunted, as if the very walls have eyes, and they are all on him. The air grows thicker, heavier, as if charged with an unknown energy. An overwhelming sense of dread envelops him, a feeling so palpable it's almost like a second skin. Each breath becomes a struggle, each step heavier than the last. It's as if the house itself resents his presence, resists his every move. His heart pounds in his chest, a staccato rhythm that drowns out the whispers and the rustling shadows. His courage, once as solid as the stone walls of the house, now feels as fragile as the cobwebs adorning the corners. He wants to flee, to escape the oppressive darkness, but the house has other plans. With each tick of the clock, the terror intensifies. It's no longer just a night. It's a battle, a struggle for survival against an unseen enemy. The explorer, once the hunter, is now the hunted, trapped in a game of shadows and whispers. With every passing minute, the house was closing in, making our explorer question, was this a fight he could win? Imagine being trapped with something you can't see but can only feel. A chill that tingles down your spine, a whisper that dances on the edge of your hearing, a presence that saturates the air, making it thick and heavy. Our explorer, once bold and brimming with curiosity, now finds himself in the throes of an unseen terror. This is no ordinary fear. It's the kind that creeps into your soul, gnawing at your sanity, feeding on your dread. It's the type of fear that reminds you of your mortality, of your insignificance in the grand scheme of things. It's a fear that's palpable, almost alive, and it's everywhere. He tries to communicate. He calls out, voice trembling, echoing through the shadows. He questions, pleads, demands. The entity remains silent. It's as if the very walls are holding their breath, waiting, watching. The silence is deafening, a void that swallows his words, his hopes. And then the truth bursts forth, raw and terrifying. The entity, this unseen force, it doesn't want to communicate. It doesn't want to understand or be understood. It simply exists. It's a part of the house, the shadows, the fear. It is everything and nothing at the same time. It's an enigma, a paradox, a nightmare turned reality. Our explorer, once an intruder, has become the intruded upon. He is no longer the observer, but the observed. He's the prey in a game he never signed up for, trapped in a maze with no exit. The entity, the unseen force, is the predator, the puppeteer, the master of this macabre dance. And so, our explorer is faced with a decision that carries the weight of his life. To stay or to flee, to confront the unseen, the unknown, the unending fear, or to turn tail and run, hoping to escape the clutches of this unseen force. In the face of pure terror, our explorer was left with a choice, to stay or to flee. What would you do if you found yourself in his shoes? Would you dare to face the unseen? What would you do when faced with the unknown? That's the question that haunted our intrepid explorer as he grappled with his chilling predicament. In the heart of that eerie house, a decision had to be made. The stakes were high, the air was thick with fear, and time was running out. With a gulp of courage, he chose to face the unknown head-on. He plotted his escape, his pulse pounding in his ears like a frantic drum. He navigated through the oppressive darkness, each creaking step echoing his desperation. He was a man on the edge, teetering between the realm of the living and the world of shadows. His frantic footsteps faded into the silence, leaving us in a shroud of suspense. The question lingers, as haunting as the tale itself. Did our brave explorer escape the clutches of the unseen, or did he become another shadow in the house of horror? Until next time, when we dare to venture again into the unknown.